Get ready for the world's greatest Arsenal podcast. Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. Enjoy the show.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Guns and Yellow Ribbons. This is episode number 149. I am your host, I'm Fergus. I'm joined tonight by Scunny Mike, Old Man Trev, and Mem, and hopefully later on Lee Judges was going to make an appearance. He's just doing something elsewhere. Episode 149, no party. We're going to look back at the North London Derby. We're going to look at the performances, the players, the manager, lots and lots of different things, and then we'll look ahead to Dundalk briefly. We will try and stick to our usual hour, but it could either be cut very short because we're very, very annoyed, or it could run on a little bit. So do hope you enjoy the show. Remember, if you do like the show, click on the like button if you're watching on YouTube, and subscribe to us, and also tell your mates all about it on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Scunny, how are you, mate? You okay? I can't hear you, mate.
Jesus, bloody mute button. Yeah, I'm good.
Dear.
Yes, I'm all right. Good start.
First and foremost, celebrations and jubilations for your wife. It's her birthday today, so from Guns and Yellow Ribbons, wish her a very happy birthday from me and from everybody here on Guns and Yellow Ribbons.
Oh, I will. She let me on, so can't argue too much.
Yeah, to be honest, I was surprised when you said you could jump on last minute, and I haven't been on Facebook all day because I've been absolutely flat out, and literally just check up on Facebook and it popped up, and I went, oh Jesus,
Yeah. Well, it's all right for her. Like her mum's downstairs talking to her, so it's not too bad, and I get to have an hour off.
Good.
Don't tell her.
Without any further ado, Mem, how are you, mate? I can just about make you out there in the candlelit room in North London.
It just reflects my mood, mate. Yeah,
Very dark.
Yeah, the mood, the lighting reflects my mood. Yeah, hold on to them hours, Mike. Yeah, every one of them counts, mate. Yeah, every one of them.
Trev, we chatted on Sunday. Myself, yourself, and Mem chatted ahead of the game on Sunday. It type of lived it up to. Well, first of all, how are you? First of all,
I'm all right, mate. I'm fine. Do you know why I'm fine? Because the only way is up from here, pal. We can't go much lower because otherwise I'm going to Championship grounds next season. So the only way is up. I'm not going to get grumpy. I'm not going to get grumpy. I'm not going to get grumpy. Shut up, Fergus. I'm talking. I'm not going to get grumpy. Sorry, Fergus.
I had a text from my boss just in or around towards the end of the game, and he goes, "Oh, it's not looking good for you lot." And I came along and went, "Yeah, well, we could be the first Champion League side in the Championship, win the Europa League, and then win the Championship." But listen, that was just extreme, just to humour a Birmingham City fan. Guys, we're going to start off with the Tottenham game, the North London Derby. We'll have a chat about that, and then we'll go into some other just general bits and pieces and touch on the Dundalk game. Arsenal dominate possession in the first half, but it was Spurs who got ruthless and had a clinical edge as they caught the Gunners on the break. And we lost Thomas Partey to a half-time injury. And at halftime, ultimately, the winning goal, 2-0. Let's look at that first half. We dominated that first half, Trev. And I'm sorry if I'm keeping you up. We dominated that half. And we had 62% possession. I don't think we were as bad as the scoreline says. Mem, can you move your mic? It keeps on clipping on your... it keeps on clipping on your holder or something like that. The possession figures were good. We just didn't lack. We lacked something. What do you think we lacked? Obviously goals. What do you think we lacked in that first half?
Do you know, strangely enough, Fergus, we haven't spoken about that, have we? But we're on the same lines. I don't think we were quite as bad as people might think. You know, trust me, we're bad at the moment. We are bad. But there was things in there, like from the possession perspective, How many crosses did we have as well? 40-odd crosses into the box, was it?
34
I
crosses.
thought that 34. Sorry, 34. I do apologise. I don't think we were that bad. I think certain areas actually made me feel quite positive. I think that there was only 2 positions where we were beaten. We're a bit like we were against Leicester, right? We were mugged. And I thought the difference between the 2 sides was the 2 forward players on each side. I genuinely did. I thought that was it. That was the only difference. I thought. You know, I'm not. I know the picture's much worse than that, but on the day in this game, I think that if we'd have swapped the forwards over, we'd have walked the game with the possession we had, mate.
Yeah, and Mem, when you saw that, and I know for qualification, Mem had such the ump by the end of the first half. You didn't see the second half, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the first half.
Couldn't watch it. Couldn't watch it.
When you saw that ball break to Son for that first goal, what did you think?
As soon as cover him on the inside, don't let him get inside, don't let him get onto the right, just usher him out. It was really bad. The goal was really bad. The first goal was really bad. I thought the second goal was even worse personally, because we were on the attack and like the ball breaks down with Bellerin playing it okay, a little bit behind Aubameyang, but he's just not bright enough and sharp enough at the moment. He's not anticipating anything, and one ball forward, it all gets turned around, and before you know it, it's 2-0. It's just too easy. We just played right into their hands. We touched on it before the game on Sunday, and you know, we just had to be a bit cagey about the game because they were never going to come out and try and play us off the pitch. They were going to do exactly what they'd done. And like, what annoyed me, I actually honestly thought it was a real easy point to be won on Sunday if we'd have just been a little bit cute and astute about it. And on another day, if you're lucky enough off of a set piece, you might nick a goal. But the way we went about it, just played right into their hands, and it just gave me the raving ump. I was so I just couldn't watch the second half, and that's not me, guys.
I know.
I couldn't believe. I'm baffled. Like Trev, you said it before on Sunday. I'm just baffled with what's going on in the last 4 or 5 weeks, maybe a little bit longer than that. Since that Leicester game, since the Man United win, it just everything just doesn't seem quite as connected as it once was.
We're going to go into that in a bit more detail. Just cover the game itself first of all, Mike. Bellerin, even Bradley sticks it in the comments here. Bellerin, both goals came from a result of poor right-hand side, positioning on the right-hand side. Bellerin was nowhere to be found for both goals. Myself and Mem talked briefly on Monday, I think it was, about the game. I actually rang Mem on a work thing and said, well, what do you think? Not talking about football. But we ended up talking about the game. And did you think Holding had any fault in that build up to that goal at all, Mike?
Well, you guys know me. I'm not afraid to go at a player when I know he's done wrong. You'll get anybody who watches me on Arse Brothers or the Friday Arse Show, even before, even on this show, you know, I'm not afraid to go at a player when he's done wrong. But I'm not going in at Bellerin on this one. I'm not saying he wasn't at fault. I rated him as probably the worst player on the pitch for me, just for that reason. He was good at going forward. Don't get me wrong. He was putting in crosses in, but he's a defender. He's a left back. He's a right back. Your job, 101, is defence. That's it. I can't go any further into it than that. If I get, you know what I mean, I just can't, because I'll be here all day. I'll be here all night. The problem I find is I don't know what happened, but I think it was tactical naivety. I can't think of the word. That's the one. Yeah. I was getting that and negativity mixed up. But I think it was just completely tactical naivety, and that's the issue. Was the most forward player for both goals. I was
going to say, Dave Hurl's put a comment about Bellerin being most forward player. It has William got some fault? I asked you about Holding, and if you can give us an idea.
Well, this is what I'm saying about tactical errors. You know, this is what I mean about tactical errors. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he was trying to go with Arteta. I don't know if he was going for the double bluff in the game, you know, by bringing Partey on, which I don't think he should have been playing, if I'm being honest. You know, the guy was injured, and I'm sure you'll get onto that in a minute. But so I won't go too much into Partey, but I think the whole thing is just it is naivety. I can't even excuse me, I can't say it at all. Sorry, I'm getting stressed out with myself here, but that's the issue. And when you come back to say Holding, was he at fault? No, not necessarily. He was left on his own, and I'm not being funny, but he's got a world class. It is, whether you like it or not, you got 2 world-class players up against you in Son and Kane. What's he meant to do? He's not a world-class defender. Don't get me wrong. He does his job really well. And he's been brilliant so far for us this season. But when you're going up against players like them two, what else could he do? And yeah, Willian, I blame him. He was defensively. Where was he? You know, where was he?
I don't think we can make a case for any of them from Sunday. Can't make a good case for any of them.
Say that again.
Dave Harold's hit the
one
nail
at a time.
The covering.
Sorry.
Dave Harold.
Yeah, good
Dave
point.
Harold is hitting the nail on the head there, right? Because we're a professional football team, right? And Bellerin is a wing back. He gets forward. He puts crosses in, right? That's how he plays the game, right? We should know by now that the likes of Son is going to break down that left-hand side and give it a bit of space. He's going to, highly likely, he's going to do us damage, right? You're not got to be stupid to know that. He's been playing out of his skin all season. I hate him for it. But we know that. So if Bellerin's pushing forward, one of those midfielders or one of those more forward players should be ready to cover for Bellerin. It's Bellerin's job to bomb up and down the wing, right? I'm not blaming Bellerin for this, right? Willian or Xhaka or even Partey should have watched. In my head, if I'm playing that game and I'm watching Bellerin pushing up towards the byline to put it across, and I'm watching Son lurking by the halfway line in a mile of space behind him, I'm drifting right. I'm going right and I'm covering him because I know what kind of player he is. I know what he likes to do. I know he's going to get the ball. He's going to run forward. He's going to cut in and whack it with his right foot. That's what he does. So it's not Bellerin in this instance. Don't start me about Bellerin's foul throws because I'll stab him in the eye with my pen. But there's more to it than just, you can't just blame Bellerin. Bellerin's job is to get forward and put crosses in.
Yeah, that's why I'm not blaming Bellerin at all, mate. I'm saying he was probably, for me, in my opinion, was the worst player on the pitch. But for my own reasons, that's my opinion, not everybody else's. That's just why I'm not going in on him. What I'm saying is this is down to tactics and the way we were set up for this game. It was completely wrong.
Michael, I'm agreeing with you, son.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay level-headed about this. I was fuming yesterday, but I thought, no, today I'm going to be really level-headed about all this. And then, obviously, I got the invite to come on here, or I invited myself to come on here. So I thought, right, now I'm going to stay level-headed.
Yeah, and that's what we want. That's what we want. You know, there's some people in the comments are chucking some blame at Leno's positioning. I don't want to go into another Leno sort of.
Don't get started on that. He was not at fault for any of these goals. That first one was an absolute worldie.
Yeah, I agree.
No chance.
I totally agree. I thought
let's not get into this Leno talk. I'll rip you.
Yeah, exactly. So I just wanted to cover that.
We can make a case for any player on Sunday's performance. I accept I only watched the first half, guys. Yeah. I can't make an argument for any one of the 11 from Sunday. Sorry, got to say it, yeah. I think they were all rubbish. Every single one of them totally and utterly disconnected and disinterested. It was really hard for me to watch. That's why I couldn't watch the second half. Rubbish, useless. Couldn't believe what I was watching.
Question for you then, Mem. Xhaka has a great pass on him. Hang on, let me ask the question before you start shaking your head. Okay. Xhaka can have a great pass on him. Xhaka, we've seen the stats, and we talked about it in the build-up beforehand about his stats of sideways, backwards. We're playing a Mourinho Spurs, and we're playing Mourinho. Okay, it doesn't matter who the 11 and what team it is. You're playing Jose Mourinho, who knows how to kill any sort of game, and it can just pick you off on the counter. And I think The lovely Alex Scott and the horrible Graham Souness on Sky Sports summed it up fantastically, saying they've got two great players in Son and Kane, and the rest just have to do a job. But they parked more or less 11 men behind the ball, and Xhaka passes the ball backwards, sideways, backwards, sideways. Why didn't he flip it from that left-hand side across to Bellerin, Willian, anybody, and just switch the play, make a move? Thoughts?
I don't know. Maybe he is under instruction to just. I don't know. You can't ask my opinion on Granit Xhaka. Is it his 5th season here? Is it his 5th year here now?
It's too long. Whatever.
Have any of you guys seen any kind of progression with the fella? Have any of you guys seen him move forward as a player that much?
No.
No, okay. In the last 6 months, because we needed the numpty, he's managed to get a performance out of him. But we really haven't got anyone. We bought Thomas Partey, I believe, to replace him. But only we can go and spend £45 million on a player and you get injured straight away. That's just bad luck. But that seems to follow us around everywhere in that respect. But I'm not a Xhaka. I've never been a Granit Xhaka fan. I just can't see. I was having this chat with my father the other day. Yeah, I can't see how this guy has made a professional footballer. Seriously.
Well, Terry in the comments,
I failed to see his qualities. Guys. Yeah, move on, mate, about Xhaka with me, honestly.
Terry says he can't pass 10 yards, never mind 50 yards. He has put some good crosses in the past.
Trev, quick. Sorry, Fergus. I'm going to quick. Yeah. Steve Warrington made a comment, Big Steve. Redknapp summed up Xhaka perfectly. He did. I can't remember exactly what he said, but I remember the statement in the game. But I can't remember exactly what it was. But he summed up Xhaka perfectly.
He just said,
anyone else can remember. Steve, if you remember, mate, stick it on.
He said what does he add to the team? I don't think he adds anything to the team, and he expanded on that. On top of that, Trev, what did you make of Xhaka's performance? And then we'll go into Partey as a separate one. But what did you make of Xhaka's performance overall?
It was just the regular thing. He's not a creator of chances that we need badly, and his defensive work isn't brilliant either. He's average is the word that sums him up at best. Average at best. I watched him. I'm like Mem, actually. I'm going to hold my hand up here. Mem, I didn't watch the second half, mate. But he's like Xhaka. I watched Xhaka in the first half, right? And all he did really was prance around the middle third of the field. He pranced around the middle third of the field. And Partey getting injured was massive, because I thought Partey was showing what a proper midfielder of that caliber or that positional sense should do. He's bombing up and down the field, putting tackles in, putting himself about. All Xhaka did was, I think he gave away a couple of silly free kicks, and that was it. 5 minutes into the game, he's put a needless nudge in right on the edge of our penalty area and give them a free kick. That you just can't work the bloke out. And then he walks around with that smug little look on his face, like he's like Maradona, God rest his soul. He just looking at him, just because you look at him and you think to yourself, this bloke thinks he's brilliant. I nearly swore then, Jesus. This bloke thinks he's brilliant. This bloke really, really thinks he's a class above anything else on the field. And he needs to be told. It's the opposite. He shouldn't be on the field. He's on the field because Arsenal haven't got any players. That's why. It's awful. It gives us nothing. It gives us nothing. Nothing does it give us in any aspect. I don't like going in heavy on players. You know me. This is very unusual for me. But it gives us nothing.
It's becoming more and more relevant, Trev, to be fair. These coming on players from you, mate.
He's like, can I just say, I actually think he influences the players around him in a negative way as well. Yeah, because if you're playing with a fella that he doesn't inspire anything, he's not. Honestly, I think he spreads that averageness, like you said. At best, he's average. it's like a disease. He's like it's like spreading throughout our team, that averageness, mate. Sunday was an opportunity to be bold. We picked the midfield team with Partey, Ceballos, and Maitland Niles, and if we'd have put that out and got beat 3-2, 3-1 or something, and really give it a go, I'd have been considerably happier with that, because I'd have felt at least there's some sort of progression, there's a change happening. But no, he just picked them. He just picked the wrong guy.
We picked two of the players in the bottom three of player points on the BBC Sports website in Bellerin and Xhaka, and one that, for Arsenal fans, probably currently, unsurprisingly, is bottom, but from previous experience, you would expect him to be at the top, is our number 14, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. He gets the lowest scoring of all players, and I think there's an average vote of people who vote in via, I don't know, text or whatever. Trev, thoughts on Aubameyang? He was anonymous. He has been since the signing of his new contract.
Well, mate. Well, Fergus, I don't know if you remember that on our podcast on Saturday, I really tried to turn what had been a negative interview from Aubameyang into a positive. I don't know if you recall. I said, yes, he's on a wind-up here. He's put this face on. He's looking away, looks disinterested, and he's going to go out on the field and have a blinder. So I tried to defend that press conference. I tried to. It
was a Zoom thing, wasn't it?
You what, mate?
It was a Zoom sort of thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. But then I looked at how he was on the field again, and I thought, oh my God, he's at it. He's doing it again. He's disinterested again. Another game where he's disinterested. What is going on? And then tying it into what Mem just said about influence and about other players doing, being heavily influenced by other players. Take it out of football, put it into any context, right? Any context of life, right? Not just football, any context. If you've got a leader, your inspirator, your example setter, your trend setter, your person that leads by example, talking like that on an interview and playing like that on a football field, which has now become consistently, it's very worrying. I'm not going to say bad things about Aubameyang. I'm just saying that how I see it.
But is it the manager's fault in the sense of the tactics that we're using? You mentioned earlier about 34. You got the figures wrong, but the 34 crosses going into the box. Again, the lady on her name's gone out of my head again. On Sky doing the punditry.
She's an Arsenal player. You should know this.
Yeah, I know that. My brain is just frazzled, mate. I've literally just finished work about half hour before this.
Alex Scott.
Alex Scott.
That's it, yeah.
Sorry, Donna.
She commented and said of the 74 goals that Aubameyang has scored in the Premier League, only 3 have come from a header. And yet again, we keep on putting in 34 crosses into the box. How is a player who is not prone to scoring by his head getting all these crosses in? Trev, go.
Well,
I'd like to go on this one.
Yeah, you can in a minute, Mike.
Go for it, Mike. He's put me on the spot, Mike, so you go for it. I'm going to give it some thoughts.
No, I'd like to come in on this one because this is where I'm saying about all the tactics are wrong. I've been very critical of Aubameyang recently. Very, very critical. But I did myself some damage. I watched this game twice. I wanted to get the full ins and outs on this game. And I wanted to, this is where I'm saying this is where I've become level-headed about it. I did watch this game twice. And look at the way we are playing. It is not to the strengths of Aubameyang. Like we said, 34 crosses. Aubameyang's not known for his heading. And this is what I'm saying about the tactics of what Arteta did in this game and what Jose Mourinho did in this game. You see, the thing is with Jose Mourinho, he's doubled up against our forward line. He's doubled up his players. and he's told them to say, let them cross. They've got no one who can edit. They've got no one. All they can do is cross, and we've got perfect players here in the sense of their defenders like Højbjerg and Dyer and what's the other guy's name? Alderweireld. They've got perfect players who can deal with that. You know, they had Harry Kane dropping back into their defense to
Harry Kane.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Harry Kane had more defensive touches in his own box than in our box.
Yeah, exactly. So they're dealing with that pressure. It was like basically we were kicking a ball against a wall. That's what was happening. And with this setup, we saw it against Wolves as well. So it's not just this match; it was against Wolves as well. We saw exactly the same situation. You know, at one point in time, during the game in the Wolves game, they went from a 3 at the back to a 4 at the back because that's all we were doing. This tactical thing that we're doing at the minute, the tactical play is completely wrong. You know, we're crossing the ball in the box. Don't get me wrong. Tierney is putting some beautiful balls in the box, but who's it to? Who can head it? You've got Aubameyang who doesn't header, and you've got Lacazette, for instance, when Lacazette in this game, who's what, 5'0". Who's he jumping over? You know, he did have a good chance at a header in the game, Lacazette, and it was a good save by Lloris, but that was one. And then Aubameyang got a header as well. That's one header. He should really be finishing that, to be fair, Aubameyang, but he didn't. He didn't get underneath it.
The Lacazette one was absolutely dreadful as well.
Well, I don't know. It was on target. It was one of the 2 shots that was on target. You know, and Lloris pulled off. In fairness, I thought it was a good save by Lloris. But while we're playing these tactics, and this is what's going on, for a team like Mourinho's team, which we've seen before, we've seen it at Chelsea, we saw it at Man U, you know, we saw it at Real Madrid when he was there. This is what he does. He knew this was coming, you know, and this is what I'm saying about the double bluff. You know, did Arteta go out there and say, right, we're going to do a double bluff here. We'll say we're going out with 5 and then we'll go back in with 4 and we'll play a 4-2-3-1 and bring Partey on, which no one was expecting Partey to come in. So that to me was a double bluff, which was I think it was the complete wrong setup for this game.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that was wrong set up for this game?
Right, not many people are going to like this because we're Arsenal fans, but we have to give that team in Spurs some respect. They're not top of the table at the minute for no reason, right? You wouldn't have gone. We didn't go to Liverpool and play this game. We didn't go to Man City and play this game. Why do we feel as Arsenal, for instance, the divine right to go out there and do what we did?
Do you not think we played similar to what we did against Man United?
Well, yeah, but Man United are around the same sort of positional thing as what we are. You know, they're in the same situation as us. They didn't exactly play very well, but who's expecting when someone's at the top of the table having some really good games, by the way? They've beat Man City, they've beat Chelsea recently. Why should we go out there and
employing those same tactics?
Yeah. What gives us the right to go to their ground and go out the way we did to attack the crap out of them when we knew it was going to be bouncing off a wall, which in the end it did? I'm going to be honest here. I didn't expect to win. I was expecting a loss. You know, I wouldn't say that, for instance, you know, before the game or if I was doing a prediction league, I wouldn't say to myself, I'd go for a draw. You know, on a prediction league, I hate thinking that we're going to lose to that team. But I just don't understand where Arteta feels like he's got the divine right to go out there and attack this club, who's at the top of the table, who have got all the momentum, and we haven't. We've got no momentum.
I think Kai is
sorry,
actually...
sorry, it wasn't Chelsea. I do apologise. Yeah, he was right.
Mike summed it up about the tactics. Yeah, the tactics have changed. He's right. We touched on it again on the preview at the weekend, lads. Yeah. Remember, I mentioned about if we employ tactics like we did in the semi and the final, yeah, and to be a little bit cute and cagey about it and play them at their own game, maybe we can actually, you know, catch them out. But maybe because possibly last season's game was on Mikel's mind, possibly, yeah, when we did go there. And I felt last season we were very unlucky to lose 2-1 and we should have got something out of the game. I can't say that about Sunday's performance. It was meek and weak, yeah. But the tactics have changed. You know, Aubameyang is right. He likes to run behind. Man, the guy's like a gazelle, man. He needs something to run onto, yeah? It's nice when you bring teams onto you. And KT for a while and David Luiz, when he was in the centre of defence, was springing that 30, 40, 50-yard ball, and he was bringing him short, spinning him around, and off he was going. At the very least, it gave us a bit of a focal point and an attacking point. Yeah, that seems to have completely gone out of our game in the last sort of 4 or 5 games. We're not employing that at all anymore. The guy can run, and we're not utilising his strength.
Look,
Just to answer one comment in the comment chat, Trull says, "You guys all look like you're dressed for a funeral. Wear some red and white."
Well, I've got an bloody right shirt on.
I've got some Arsenal on, and he's got some Arsenal behind him.
I've got some white.
We haven't won. We haven't won the North London Derby, so it's never a pleasant time. So if we'd won the North London Derby, I think there'd be fireworks and everything else going off behind us. So,
look,
William,
just don't move on. Wait, Fergus, don't move on from Aubameyang for a minute. Don't move on from tactics for a minute, right? Because firstly, whether we like it or whether we don't, Arteta's still learning. Still learning. I hope he learns very quickly from the weekend, very quickly, because I still say he's our only hope. You've got to look at the bigger picture of our club, right? We're in a mess from top to bottom, we were. But I just want to go back to Aubameyang, right? And maybe he doesn't do this because he's not allowed to. But think back, right? Think back to your likes of Ian Wright. Think back to Thierry Henry. Look at what you mentioned about him up the road, the cheats movement in his own half, right, on Sunday, right? And what are them three do, right? What do they do? If they're not, if we're having a bad run, if they're not getting the balls played forward, if they don't think that the ball's coming from midfield, if they don't think it's right, then what did them 3 strikers do? They dropped deep into their own half and got the bloody ball themselves.
Yeah, as you said, Thierry Henry.
One of the greatest goals Thierry Henry ever scored. Ran from his own half against Tottenham and scored. Right? You said it just now, Fergus. Harry Kane had more touches in his own penalty area than he did in ours. Right? Ian Wright. You look at some highlights of Ian Wright. Drops deep, gets the ball, takes it forward if there's no feeds to him. If the feeds to him, he'll make them runs, and Thierry Henry would run onto the ball and score the goals. But they had a plan B. Now, put me right if I'm wrong, but I can't remember Aubameyang dropping deep once on the weekend to try and pick up the ball deep and make a move from there. And that's not personal against Aubameyang. That may be tactics. He may be told not to do that, although I would be surprised if he did. Maybe it's just his attitude. I don't know. But Aubameyang isn't playing well. You can't just blame tactics, because a good forward, a good centre forward will go and find the ball and make magic with it, as the people I've just mentioned did, you know? So it worries me greatly.
That's the difference, Trev, that I've been saying for a long time in world-class players and a good player. That's the difference for me. And this is why I've never said that Aubameyang is world-class.
No, you're right, Mike. He's a great finisher, but he's not a great footballer.
I'd say he's a great player. You know, like you say, he's a great finisher. He's got a great sprint. Even for his age, he can run past people. But he's not a world-class player.
He's not. No, agreed. I think he's a great finisher, but I agree with you 100%. He's not a great footballer at all, no. So, Trev, you're right.
Man,
you're
wait a minute. Wait a minute.
In the chat for Trev.
Yeah.
What do you think of Kane? What do you think of Kane when he runs under our player in the air? It isn't the first time he's done this. We've discussed it before. I don't know if it was on a podcast or not, but we've definitely discussed this tactic that Harry Kane has. When a player goes up in the air, he actually backs in underneath him. He's going to hurt somebody badly, don't you think, Trev?
I'm not allowed to use the words that I'd like to use, mate, so I'm going to stay on this one.
Be creative, Mike.
If you look...
If you look on my Twitter, you'll see someone kindly put together a compilation of the times
Kane has done this. It's not once, it's not twice, it's not 3 times, it's not 4 times. He does it very regularly, right? He doesn't watch the ball. He waits for a player to jump and he ducks under him, right? With the intention, I'm not going to say that Kane is doing it to intentionally injure a player. I'm not going to say that. What I'm going to say is he is going to injure a player. And he's not clever enough to realise what he's doing. Now, I'm trying to be nice to Kane here. It hurts me greatly. I've thought about this, Ferguson. I'm choosing my words very carefully. I'm trying to be nice to Kane. I'm not accusing him of intentionally trying to injure a player. But it's a tactic he's using that the referees and the game are not stopping, where he's going to injure a player. Whether he thinks he is or not, whether he knows he is or not, he is going to hurt a player. As you know, I'm not going to dwell on it. I played rugby to quite a good level for many years, right? And I saw injuries on fields through 2 things: spear tackling, which I won't go into, and hitting a player in the air, right, when he can't recover. Very dangerous, and it needs stopping. And if the FA don't step in and say, "Look, Mr. Kane, you may not realise you're doing this, but you need to stop it," then something is wrong with the game badly. Because we're not talking about cheating here, although it is cheating. The main important point here: take the cheating out of it, take the actual name of the player out of it if you want. To do it anyway is very, very dangerous. And someone needs to have a word with Mr. Kane. Say, stop it! You stop it now.
Have you noticed any other players doing it?
No.
In the league?
No.
The way that
not to my knowledge.
I
Not
think
the way he does it.
Yeah, I think he's quite blatant with it. With some of the other, watch some of the central defenders. Yeah, they can be quite cute with it, but he's quite blatant with it, isn't he? Yeah, you're right, Trevor.
The thing is, when Trevor was talking about rugby, oh, go on. I got to say, when you were talking about rugby, they actually. Shut up! You're talking off. No, I was just going to say, Trev, when you talk about rugby, I don't know if it's league or union, but they're cut out because of that same reason, because it can cause so many injuries. They've cut out tackling while someone's in the air. So they're not actually allowed to do that at all. So this is the thing, isn't it? It's whether you want to class it as cheating, whether you want to class it as dirty tactics, I don't know. That's completely up to the person who wants to call it that. What I would say is I can't say the word for it, but I'm not, but I'm not going to go down that route. But it's dangerous. That's the worst thing about it. It is actually dangerous. And the problem I find with it is like someone made in the comments, the refs are aware now. Is it Kieran? Because there's been so much on social media. Yeah, he won't get away with it again without seeing red. Refs have been made aware of it. But the thing is, when he played against Brighton, he did exactly that and got a penalty. That's the issue I'm finding with this. Is that, do they know? Do they look at it? Where's VAR? Because this is what it's for.
It's exactly what it's for, Mike. It's exactly what it's for, Mike.
You know, exactly, and I don't want to go down that route. Is it because he's the England captain and he's the FA's golden boy? I don't want to really go down that route because it's not fair. You know, it shouldn't be like that.
But many an England captain has got away with a lot of stuff just because they are the England captain.
Yeah.
If anyone's got any doubts, right? If anyone's got any doubts, look at Harry Kane's eyes. Look at Harry Kane's eyes in every instance. He's looking down at the feet of the player and he's waiting. He's waiting. He's waiting. The player's feet leave the floor and he dives into his knees, right? He dives into his knees, right? And he's going to kill. He's going to seriously hurt someone. He's going to seriously hurt someone. Now on Twitter today, right? I had an idiot because I posted that on Twitter, and I had an idiot, right, say that he was a Spurs fan, but it don't matter. You don't bring teams into this. But he said, "Oh well, it's just two players going at each other. It's bodily contact." And I lost it a bit with him, right? I lost it a bit with him because it don't matter what team you support here. It doesn't matter what team you support here. It's going to seriously, it's going to break a neck or a back Or I'll tell you what goes a lot with them tip tackles, because I had one, collarbones. I broke a collarbone through a tip tackle, you know. I think the only thing that might save them is the fact that they water all the Premier League pitches nowadays and they're softer for their landing. If it was like the old days and the pitches were rock hard, serious trouble. So let's finish it with this, right? I'll finish it with this, right? I can't be more fairer than this and try not to show who my allegiance to. Take the player out of it. Take the team out of it, right? Take the situation out of it. Just look at, is it dangerous for a player to look at another player's legs, not look at the ball, wait till he jumps off the floor and dive straight into his knees, right? Say it like that without naming any names or any teams, and then it gets scary. Then it gets scary. Right, Fergus, thank you, mate.
No worries, no worries. Listen, I to be honest, we've had the discussion on the group sometimes, and I think we've discussed it a little bit on here. But as you say, take it away from individual teams and players, for somebody to do that in this game. The way the game speeds up and the way that everything else goes, it's only going to end up in one way, and it's going to end up in injury. And how serious that injury is, who knows? You know, there's a big thing about heading the ball. There's a big thing about head clashes with the Luiz and Jimenez thing. So, you know, the Harry Kane thing needs to be pointed out. Finally, on this game, we said it in the preview that Partey, if he's fit enough to start, if he's fit enough to be on the bench, he should start. He shouldn't be on the bench. Mike, was he fit? Well, actually, I think I know your answer because you've already said it. Was he fit enough to be on the bench?
No, he shouldn't have even played. In my opinion, that's my opinion. I don't think he should have played. You know, he's just come back from an injury. Whether or not, I honestly think he was rushed through. And in all fairness, before half time, that was confirmed for me. You know, I just can't think of any other way of doing it. He got rushed onto the pitch because of the tactics and the double bluff that Arteta wanted to play. That's the only thing I can. That's the only reason I can see behind it.
Do you think it was probably mind games, Mem?
What about Thomas Partey being fit for Sunday?
Yeah, bringing him on, because there was talk about, he probably won't be fit, and then he might be, and then he won't be, and then you had the mind games with Lloris and Toby and Harry Kane.
With Mourinho, defo. I mean, we touched on it on Sunday. Mourinho does that. That's his style. We know that. You know how he works, how he operates. With us, I don't know. I think we definitely rushed him to be fit for Sunday because, you know, let's face it, he's, you know, our best midfield player. He's only been here 2 minutes. Well, he's quite far away.
Is he though? You can't really tell.
He is. No, he is our best midfield player. Yes. All right. From what you've seen, from what little I've seen of him, the guy is quality. Having said that, he's been injured almost from the get-go, so we've not really been able to see him. So, yeah, definitely. I don't think he was 100% match fit. 100% no. Definitely, did we rush him through to be fit for Sunday? Yeah, defo we did. But I had a real big issue with the second goal and the way it panned out with him wandering off the pitch, fellas. I don't care who or what.
He should have gone down. He should have gone down and held his head, feigned an injury.
Yeah. Get the ref to stop the game of play. He emptied.
I don't think referees stop it now unless it is a clash of heads or an actual head injury that's quite prominent or known or can be seen. I think if he just went down, they would have carried on play anyway. So it doesn't really matter.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, Partey, and say it just might have been a bit of naivety or on the moment thing that he came off the field when he shouldn't have done. But go back to his selection, right? There is absolutely no doubt that Partey is a class higher than anything else we've got in midfield, in my mind.
Yes.
And if I'd have been Mikel Arteta on Sunday, I would have said to Thomas Partey, are you fit enough to play? I would have said to our medical staff, is he fit enough to play? And if they'd have had the slightest inclination that he was going to be able to get through that game, I'd have put him in. I'd have risked him. Because his class. Look what he showed in that first half. Before he got injured. He was our best baller. He was our most energetic, positive player. You've got to risk him. You've got to risk him.
He had
If
one
there's a chance
great
to get
surge
through
in
the
the
game,
first
do it.
half when he went past a few players. He had one great surge in the first half. He's just his strength got him through. It was great. But yeah, definitely right. Trevor's 100% right.
The thing is about Partey though is that you saw him looking at the bench, you saw him waving his arms even before the goal went in. You saw him looking towards that thing. He must have told him that he wanted it to come off. He must have known. Obviously, he's known himself. He tried running. You can see he pulled up. So and that was way before the goal. So he must have known all this. This is what I'm saying. So I'm like Trev. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here because I saw when I've watched the game back. I've watched the game twice now. And when I watched it back, I made a point of looking at that point towards where Partey was doing, and he looked at that bench. He must have told Arteta, "I need to come off. Something's wrong." And then he said, "No." He must have said, "No, carry on." And it's like, "No, I'm not doing this. I can't do it." He tried running back, and he couldn't do it. But the thing is, you can say about Partey all you want about this. Where was Xhaka during this instance? He's not the only person in midfield for that goal, that second goal. Where was Xhaka?
Mike, like I said, yeah, I don't think I can make a case for any of them from Sunday's performance. All that I'm saying, I rate the guy highly. I do believe Trevor's bang on, yeah. I think he's by far and away our best midfield player. Unfortunately, he's been injured from almost the get-go, and we've not really seen him play that often, yeah? Having said all of that, mate, he's a professional footballer that's been... I wonder how Diego Simeone would react if he walked off the pitch while the ball's still in play. He's got to do something different to try and affect it, break it up somehow. But walking off the pitch, as far as I'm concerned, I can't give him no benefit of the doubt for that. That, for me, is not professional.
Depends what he said to the manager. This is what
Lee,
I'm saying.
welcome to the show.
All right, guys, how we doing? You all right?
How you doing, Lee?
Yeah, fine, mate. Fine.
Hello, mate. All right.
Lee, I've got a little bit of time lag on my end. But you were elsewhere doing a charity podcast. We've done most of the game, but getting to the crux of it, and one that I know that you're quite passionate about, which is Arteta and his position. Whether it, what's your view on Arteta's tactics in the last few games? Arteta persisting with crossing the ball despite not having the right players, and the situation we got with the club.
Oops.
Oh,
Who's with me?
It's gone.
Probably
Party
fine.
time, lads.
Go on in, Lee.
Ferg's
Crack
gone.
on, mate. Crack
crack
on, Lee.
on.
Fergus is gone.
Go on, crack on, Lee.
Let's all talk about Fergus.
Do you not talk about him? But that. Oh, listen, I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm trying to, whatever you think about Archie, I'm not going to defend him no more because I was disappointed with the tactics against Tottenham. It's so naive. You knew exactly how they was going to line up, and he played right into their hands. And I don't care what anybody says when people say, we got in so many crosses and whatever. That's because they allowed those crosses to come in. Like they knew that they was comfortable about doing it. What they didn't want us to do was get in behind them, and we never was able to do that once. So when they were saying like, "Oh, we're putting in crosses," they were going to say, "Look, we've got two big centre halves that are better headers of the ball than your forwards," and that's how they played it. What disappointed me about it is you see exactly the same way he set up against Manchester City. And we fell into the trap as well. And I don't know why we done that. I don't know why. What the hell is Bellerin bombing on for when you've got Song, who's probably the best on the counter-attack at the moment? And what happened then, he's got a run at Holding inside, where he could go for him left, right, centre. It's just poor tactics on the day. I don't know why he went down that route, and I was disappointed. And if anybody says to me now, I want Arteta out for whatever, I don't defend it no more. I go, well, yeah, I can understand the reasons that you want, and that's it. Like, but I'm not. You have to ask yourself a question at this moment in time: is he getting the best out of the players? Because they're 15th, 16th in the league. I don't see one player playing is improved from like you know when it come to August. If someone said to you, lads, if someone said to you, walking out after the FA Cup final in 2 months' time or 3 months, by December you'll be 15th in the league, you'd have laughed at them. Something's gone.
Would you, Lee?
wrong.
Would you ever have thought they were into a 6-pointer against Burnley on Sunday?
No, I don't see where it's all gone wrong, and it's all gone wrong from the summer's transfer window. Something big has happened at Arsenal. I don't care what anybody says, has gone wrong. The decision, it all started with a decision from Martinez, whether you agree with Leno or not. When you've got a goalkeeper or a player playing really, really, really well, what's his reward? You sell him because you can get more money for him. Was the wrong decision. It sends out the wrong message, in my opinion. You know, there is a saying in football, you know, you play for the shirt. If you've got your possession of the shirt, that went completely out the window. What it basically said was, if I'm on more money than you and I'm a bigger transfer, I'm going to keep in this team. And then, obviously,
I'm going to really, really disagree with you on the Leno one, mate. And I saw Mem doing nodding, agreeing with you. I'm going to disagree with you on that one at all.
Mike,
you know, for the last 2 seconds, Mem, for the last 2 seasons, Leno is probably up there with Aubameyang as our best player.
Missing the point, Scully.
I'm sorry.
I agree with it. I totally agree with what you're saying there. I totally agree that Leno's been fantastic. But it's the thing of like playing well and keeping your shirt, and then it's not happening. I'm not saying that's it, but that's just one scenario.
The thing is with Martinez, so I'm sorry, let me just jump in quick. The thing is with Martinez, he was going to be sold anyway. He just turned himself from a £3 million player to a £20 million player. That's the difference.
What the principle is when you've got a manager turning around and saying it's all about merit, you're getting into the team on merit, you know what I mean, and things like that, which he's come out and say, and then all of a sudden, like that happens. Then all of a sudden, the Ozil situation, he comes out and turns around and says it's for footballing reasons, when everybody in the whole world knows it's not for footballing reasons. Then you get rid of Guendouzi for being bad and whatever and not doing things right. And then Willian goes off to Dubai, comes back, and he's straight back in the side. All those little things that are going on are upsetting the apple cart. In my opinion, I'm only trying to look for reasons why this team.
I agree with you about the rest of it. I just can't agree with you about Leno, mate. That's the only thing I can't agree with you about. The rest of it, yeah, completely.
That's what opinions about.
Lee, I'm getting information from about various things, and a lot of it is about no fans of football, lack of income coming into the team. Yes, the owners put in the hand in the pocket to accommodate the party deal, but that was only really by restructuring debt around the club. Shirt sponsors, various sponsors are looking for rebates of sponsorship money because of lack of advertising opportunities and so on. And it's just very, very negative. There's more redundancies happen at the club. Well, look does our manager wear our sponsors?
Well, there's been a problem about that today, isn't there? That's all come out today, isn't it? Like, you know, so
he only wears Armani.
Yeah, and you know, like when Arsene Wenger wore a suit, he wore the Nike coat over it, didn't he? You know, these are all things that are going on at the club. But listen, all these problems about sponsorship, blah, 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 they all must be happening at other clubs as well. It's just not Arsenal that got. By the way, every other team in the Premier League ain't got no fans. You know what I mean? Let's get this right. Everybody's got, you know, can't keep going on that. And I say this now, Arsenal and Arteta has benefited from having no fans, because I'm telling you that now, they wouldn't be tolerating what's going on at the moment at the Emirates. They'd be going mad. You know what I mean? Like, and I'll tell you that now, some teams have benefited from having no fans. I.e. them down the road have benefited from not having no fans, because that wouldn't have happened. Other teams have benefited, not benefited. Sheffield United, for instance, you know, we've been there. The atmosphere is fantastic there, and so everybody's got to deal with that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, but you know, you can't keep making out excuses about it. Arsenal sold player after player after player to fund their stadium. Tottenham haven't done that, and they're doing it with the pandemic. You know what I mean? So it's all these things that are
going. They get a huge payout from the government, though.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do.
they-
Well, why didn't Arsenal
didn't,
get a
did we?
big government
No.
payout when it mattered? You know what I mean?
No.
These are all things that have happened, and it's. I think at the end of the day, mismanagement in before is not helped us because we haven't been able to get rid of the player. It's not fair, right, lads? It's not fair that Mikel Arteta has to leave players out of a squad. Those players should have been sold, so that decision's not made for him. But he's had to leave out players from a squad. That it's not good. It's not. It
But
won't.
whose fault is that? Is that the agent's fault? Is that the recruitment fault? Is that
The
Edu's
club-
fault?
club.
Does it land on Edu?
The club should have turned round. In my opinion, let's talk about with Mesut Ozil. Once he was he weren't going to sign him. They should have said, Mesut, there's the rest of your contract. Bye bye.
They did.
Well, then
Yeah,
he's gone, then, isn't he?
That's no the issue. The issue is there obviously because he's going to have an accountant and all the other, lawyers and everything like that. The issue is he's got to accept that. If he doesn't accept that, then he doesn't have to go.
Right,
he
well,
hasn't.
okay.
The thing is with Ozil is
What's he training for? I'd have said,
because
right, if
that's
you
part
don't
of his
accept-
contract.
Contract.
That's his
Gardening,
contract.
yeah, but gardening leave. Or if he's not going to agree with it, gardening leave. Get him away. Get him away from the club.
The
You know what I
thing
mean?
is, he's got to uphold his contract. If he's got to uphold that, I agree with you.
If Arsenal turn around and say no, you know what I mean. I just feel that it's not been done right, lads. You know what I mean?
I honestly,
I
Lee,
agree.
I
I
agree
think
with
we
you.
all would.
Yeah, but the thing is, when he's got a contract, if he doesn't turn up to training, he breaks a contract, and then they can get rid of him. They can sack
Okay,
him.
why wouldn't you have your
But
contract?
he's not
Play
stupid enough to put him into that
If
position.
he's played in Fenerbahce or in Turkey for less money, why wouldn't he want to do that?
Because he's not. I can't say the word, but because he's that type of person. This is what I mean. This is what I've said it before about Ozil. He's on a good hefty. He's on good money. He's on 250k a week at the minute, not doing anything. He's doing his job by turning up to training, and he's doing everything that he needs to do to abide by his contract. So they don't. If they turn around and say, right, we're going to give you the 18 million or whatever it was at the start of the season to pay off your year, he can turn that down as long as he sticks to his contract. And that's the issue that Arsenal found themselves in. And this is the issue of what we say past regimes have put us in. That causes a massive negative issue on the team itself now and the club. It must do. That must be a causing factor of why we're in these situations.
Lee, question for you: do you think another manager could change our poor players and turn them into good players? Is it? And again, this isn't a manager in or out sort of thing. It's just a general question. Do you think somebody could do better than what Mikel is doing right now? The obvious answer is yes, but not necessarily.
Of course it is. But what I think that where Arteta's going wrong is he's continually, and if it's his downfall, whatever, he's backing players that are letting him down. You know what I mean? How many more games is Willian going to have? Poor games is he going to have before he says, no, I'm going to bring somebody else in? Is it Bellerin's fault? Everybody's been blaming Bellerin this week. You know what I mean? Is it Bellerin's fault? Not really. I blame the manager. He should have left him out. You know what I mean? He's not making those decisions. And this is a big thing for me now, can Bellingham do any worse than what Aubameyang's done up front? I don't think so. Trev will tell you this, you know what I mean? Going back in 88, 89, we tried to sign Frank McAvenny and Tony Cottee. We couldn't sign them. And we had Paul Merson in the side, in the youth team. We chucked him in and the rest is history. Was it a masterclass from George Graham? Not really. It was luck because if Tony Cottee would have said yes or McAvenny would have said yes, they would have come in. Paul Merson may never have come and give the kid a chance. Give him a chance now, because at the end of the day, whatever you think about it, it's not working at the moment.
Trev,
if Arsenal to lose to Burnley on Sunday, if they lose to Burnley with the same players that played against Spurs, I guarantee there'd be more people turning against him. But if he
I agree.
If we played a few of the youngsters and it didn't quite go right, I think that a few of us would think, well, give him another game or whatever. I really do. But his time's running out. As much as whatever you think about it, it's results business. How many more games? How many more games you're going to let him lose before you say enough? Call time. This is the problem. It's a massive problem now.
Trev, You can obviously hear Lee is upset and passionate, like we all are. And I talked to Mem actually on the phone about your a clip that he got received on his phone from his cousin or something like that, with you doing something for the AFTV. But Trev, I've never witnessed Arsenal being 15th in the league. I've been following the Arsenal from the 90s onwards. You've been following the Arsenal since God was a boy, as has Mem and Lee. Have you seen it this bad?
Don't bring me into that.
Yeah. Have you seen it this bad? Is it worse than when Terry Neal was in charge?
I've just been sitting here taking it all in, and there's some things been said that I agree with, and some things that I don't agree with. I think I've seen it as bad, but I don't think I've ever had the feeling of this lack of effort from the players, a disinterest from the players. I think when we were poor in years gone by, I always got the feeling that the players played as best they could and maybe weren't quite good enough. I don't get that feeling now. I get the feeling that players are not making an effort, or that's the impression I get when they come off the field, and by looking at their body language in interviews, etc., and looking at some of the Twitter posts that certain players make. I think that they haven't got the best of the club at heart. You know, I'm very sad now that I've listened to all this, because at the end of the day, we must all remember. I'm getting emotional here, right? Because we must all remember that we're Arsenal fans, okay? First and foremost, we're Arsenal Football Club fans, right? And when we get back in that ground, whether we're 20th in the league or whether we're first in the league, we've got to support our football team, because we can't be dragged down to that level. Yeah, we're all upset, we're all annoyed. We spoke about getting the best out of our players. Well, Wenger couldn't get the best out of our players at the end of his career, not for a long time. Emery certainly couldn't get the best out of our players, and I really feel for Emery now. At the time, I wasn't bothered too much. Now I really feel for Unai Emery, and I feel at the moment I can't go against Mikel Arteta at the present time. I still got it in my head, looking at the bigger picture, looking at who's in our club, looking at who's involved, that Arteta must turn us around. And I'll tell you for why, Fergus. I've done a lot of listening, so just listen to me a minute. I'll tell you for why. Because since about 2008, right, I would say about 2008, apart from the odd high, a cup win or a decent league finish, most seasons have seen a steady decline in our football club from a performance perspective, right? And we need to get to the root cause of that, right? We need to get to the root cause of it. It's not the players that play for the club or the manager that are the root cause. It goes further than that. And I'm also not going to pick on Kroenke, right? But I was looking at some records the other night, and Kroenke first sat in on an AGM in 2008. He was introduced at the AGM in 2008 as I think it was a non-executive director of Arsenal Football Club, right? And at the same meeting, Peter Hill-Wood was asked about the future of Arsenal Football Club and how he saw it going. And Pete, I've not got it word for word, but I know for a fact that I've got the gist of his what he said to the AGM. He said that I feel that the ownership of Arsenal Football Club will always be best in the hands of people that have Arsenal Football Club in their blood. Because although people might try their very, very best, if you've not got a club in your blood, if your heart doesn't beat Arsenal Football Club, there's going to be something missing, right? And that's where we are now, right? That's where we are. I don't think you can put it in a single place, right? I think it's a massive picture, and it's not 5 years, it's not 10 years, it's probably 12 or 15 years that this has started to happen, right? And I'm just to finish off, right, because I'm not happy now. I'm not happy at all. I went to my first football match at Arsenal in 1970, December, right? 50 years ago. 5-0, 50 years ago. And I can honestly hold my hand up and say that I may have spoke bad about players at times. I may have been down about the team at times, but I've never forgotten the reason why I'm a football fan, because I'm attached to a club. As a young man, I fell in love with Arsenal Football Club, right? I fell in love with Arsenal Football Club. And Lee's writing what he says, Mem's writing what he says, Mike's writing what he says, Fergus is writing what he says. But I'm giving up on that now. I'm telling you now on this podcast, I'm giving up on that. All you're going to get from me now is that I'm an Arsenal fan, and I'm going to talk about my team, and I'm going to do my very best. And I'm not having a go at any of you there, but I'm getting emotional with it. I hate our club in this position. I hate it. I hate it so much that it cuts a 58-year-old man to tears. We need someone in our football club that is going to pick it up, that's going to go right to the root, past the players, past the manager, past the directors, to find out where it really lies and bring it out. I wish I had the answer. I don't have the answer. But I'm telling you now, I'm an Arsenal fan, and I'm not talking down about my club anymore. I refuse. And I'm not disagreeing with any of you. I just can't listen to it anymore. Can't listen to this about this club. And on that note, boys,
Trev, great work.
Trev, fantastic points there. Fantastic.
I can listen to you all day long, Trevor.
Fantastic points there, Trevor. And what somebody said to me today, I was talking to someone today, by watching the Arsenal with me, he turned around and said, you're getting angry on that watch-alongs all the time, and you know what I mean, it's making you look what you ain't, because you ain't that sort of person. But that's what Arsenal's doing to you at the moment, right? And the thing is that it is, you know, and as Trevor says there, you know, if it's doing that to you, you know, you got to stop and whatever. And it's coming to the stage now where I'm thinking that, you know, should I be going to Arsenal, because it's hurting. It's hurting to see us playing like this, playing and being everybody taking the mickey out of you, like, you know what I mean, like, and it hurts us Arsenal fans, you know. And no one, like Trevor's right, no one wants to be seeing where Arsenal are at this moment in time, and you know, and every one of us is frustrated with what's going on at the moment. They really are, like, you know, and you know, it hurts me when you see Trevor, because he is a proper gooner. You know what I mean? There's no two ways about it. He is proper, and I know that he's always very, very positive. He makes me laugh with his predictions, putting 4-0s and 5. That's the way he is, you know. But you know, it's driving the passion out of players, and the greatest point that he's just made there is that the owners don't feel the pain of any of us. And they don't, because if they did, they would do something about it. We can't do nothing about it, and that is the frustration. But I'll tell you what, if we could, we bloody well would, wouldn't we? And that is where we're at.
Oh, I 100% agree with you. Going to say, as you're saying about, sorry, Fergus, as you're saying about Trev just being the way he was there, and there's a lad who we all know, and he's a very level-headed lad, and he's managed to pop a blood vessel in his head, you know, in Dan Potts. I've never seen, you know, I hope he sorts it out soon, like, you know, because it is really, you know, I mean, he's very level-headed, especially when he does his podcasts and stuff like that. He's a really thing. This one's really got to him, and I hope
he's brilliant.
He sorts him out soon.
He's really good.
You know, he's managed to pop a vessel.
Yeah, he's finding it. He doesn't. I think he's very much like Trev. Doesn't want to criticise anybody, but feels in that position at the moment.
It's frustration, Lee. It's frustration.
Yeah, God, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not being all, you know, when I'm not going to defend any of these players, because they must know what it's like for us fans in a North London derby. You know what I mean?
Mm.
The Spurs fans were giving it to us before the game, and now they've gone fucking 10 times worse. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm feeling it. Like, you know what I mean? Let me tell you, right? And the players didn't give. I'll tell you what. I bet when they took their shirts off, they could play them again tomorrow. I'm telling you that none of them went through none of them went through the fucking wall for us. Not one of them. Tierney did, and probably Saka, right? You know what I mean? And Gabriel, 3. The others, you know what I mean? They hang their Lacazette worked hard, but the rest of them could hang their shirts on a peg and use it again on Thursday night, and they wouldn't know. And that is shocking against Tottenham. You know what I mean?
You know what was the most obvious thing that I felt was probably the biggest insult of the game was Mourinho's interview afterwards. You got Arteta's interview where he's sticking by his tactics and sticking by that, which is fine. He stands by his own convictions. I have got no issue with that whatsoever. Whether they're right or wrong is for different people's opinions, which we've heard. But for Mourinho to compliment Arteta was almost like a knife in the back. He
knows exactly what he's doing, you know.
He'd never done it to Frank Lampard the other week. He never done it to Wenger. He's never done it to Klopp. He's never done it to other managers. Yet again, he done it to there. So listen, on a positive, to try and get a little bit positive before we finish up, Martinelli played well. He played quite a bit of the game against Wimbledon today. We lost 3-0 against Wimbledon. Saliba and Akinola both got sent off in the last 10 minutes on red cards. But it was good to get Martinelli get some minutes on the pitch because, honestly, I thought him and Saka and Aubameyang, they all paired up really, really well at the end of last season and the end of the lockdown. And hopefully we can get back in the pitch. And that might chuck us a bone to hang on to and give us something. We've got Dundalk tomorrow night. Mem, who would you play in the Dundalk game?
I'm not sure about that, but I'd just like to say I think Lee hit the nail on the head when he first started talking about something went wrong in the summer. Yeah, something definitely is not right. It baffles me. Yeah, Trevor and you as well, Ferg, on Sunday, we mentioned it. The thing that really struck me with what Trevor said, yeah, when you asked him the question, the thing that really struck me more than anything else about have we been worse than this? Yeah, probably, possibly, maybe. But the thing that really hit me hard is, and Lee's alluded towards it as well, mate. None of them players care about our club the way we'd really like them to care about our club. That's how I feel after Sunday's performance. I thought it was dismal, man. Really bad. Tomorrow night, I don't know, Fergus. I haven't actually given it much thought because, like I've said to you, my mood's really, really, really not good at the moment.
I don't know. There's a couple of people in the comments saying play the full side that we played against Spurs on Thursday night. Make them play. Yes, no, and then play the kids. Do you play the kids and chuck everything behind the kids in the league for now? The Europa League.
I'd honestly play the same team that's played against Rapid Vienna and Molde. I'd play them. Same thing, same tactics. They're doing brilliantly at the minute, and they're doing nothing wrong. You know, I don't think we should drop them just for the sake, just for the sake of this first team that we see in the Premier League. It's not fair on the people who are playing more well. Let them carry on doing what they're doing. Let the other guys start worrying about their opportunities. That's what I'd be doing now.
And as Dave says, play Balogun, at least give him a half, Lee.
There's nothing on the game, Fergus. They can't qualify. We've won the group. Balogun's got to start. He's got to play.
He's gone at the end of the year anyway, hasn't he? What's he got? 9 months left. There's another one we're going to let go.
Apparently, he wants to stay. You know what I mean? But he wants to be given some chance that he's going to get into first team games. Like, well, let's see what he can do. If he starts banging in goals, then you know what I mean. It works for both of us, doesn't it? But if you're not going to give him a go, Smith Rowe's got to play as well, 100%. And I'm telling you that. If they play well, they'll play on Sunday because I don't care who's. As far as I'm concerned, 3 players are guaranteed to start on Sunday, and that's the 3 I mentioned earlier on: Saka, and Gabriel. The rest of them are all fighting for place.
And Leno, because although Raniarison did play well in the Europa League.
Leno as well, because I mean, so you've got 4. The rest of them are all fighting for a place on Sunday, as far as I'm concerned. You know,
Totally agree. I think Maitland-Niles should be given a run out, especially after his performance in the centre mid against Vienna. We mentioned it in the preview show. Lee, thanks for joining us late on.
No, that's sure. I couldn't get on earlier, you know what I mean? So,
that's fine. You definitely changed the mood. We were doing all right. We were in dark clothing, and I'm glad you wore dark clothing as well to match the mood. But shit in hell did it drop through the floor when you joined.
I was level-headed until you joined.
Yeah, I think we're all trying to get along and be a little bit balanced. But you know what I loved about not only your passion on there and the chat we had beforehand. I've got to ring the man as soon as this finishes. Trev, that was genuine. Look, we're all Arsenal fans. We're all passionate about it. But you could hear it in the man's voice. He's genuinely hurting, like us all. But Trev stays here for the last minute. He normally wants to annoy me at the very end. And try and butt back in and keep it going for another 5 minutes. But he couldn't. He had to go. So, listen, be an Arsenal fan more than anything else, before you are anything else. Think about what you post on social media. Think about what you say and the reactions you have, because it all affects Arsenal Football Club at the end of the day. Mem, thanks for joining us. Mike, last minute I know, but appreciate you joining. And
not a problem, mate. And can I just add to that? Don't be a dick in the stadium and take them stupid banners in. Support the team on the pitch.
Yeah, I totally agree. You have been watching an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. If you like what we do, we're on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and so on. Click that subscribe buttons. Click that like button. We're not in it for the money. We're in it for the fun. It's our hobby. But it is nice to know that people like what we do, and let us know if you do. Only one last thing to say, people. Up the arse.
You've been listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons and Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too.